What if I told you the driest state in America is also home to America's largest alpine lake? Or that despite being known for expansive deserts, it's also the most mountainous? From the brightest city on earth to the loneliest road. Here are 15 incredible geography facts you never knew about Nevada. And of course, we're gonna start with the land that makes up Nevada. While often imagined as a flat desert, Nevada is defined by its dramatic vertical relief. It's the most mountainous state in the contiguous US, containing more than 300 named mountain ranges and over 100 peaks exceeding 10,000 feet in elevation. This landscape is a prime example of the Basin and Range Province, a vast region where the Earth's crust has been stretched and broken. The result is a repeating pattern of long, north-south trending mountain ranges, separated by flat, arid valleys or basins. This topography creates countless microclimates and isolated ecosystems, making travel across the state a journey of constant ascent and descent. From the Sierra Nevadas forming its western border to the Ruby Mountains in the east, these ranges are the defining feature of Nevada's physical geography, shaping everything from water flow to human settlement. Nevada holds the title of the driest state in the United States, receiving an average of only about 10 inches of precipitation annually. The primary reason for this profound aridity is the powerful rain shadow cast by the Sierra Nevada mountains to the west. As weather systems move eastward from the Pacific, they are forced to rise over this massive barrier, causing them to cool and release their moisture on the western slopes. By the time the air descends into Nevada, it's significantly drier, creating the arid conditions that dominate the state. This dryness has shaped Nevada's ecosystems, giving rise to drought-resistant plants like sagebrush and creosote, and has historically posed the single greatest challenge to settlement and agriculture, making water rights the most critical political issue in the state's history. Nevada is unique in that it lies almost entirely within the Great Basin, the largest area of contiguous endorheic watersheds in North America. The term endorheic means that the rivers and streams here do not drain into an ocean. Instead of flowing outward, all precipitation that falls within the basin terminates within it. Water either evaporates, seeps into the ground to replenish aquifers, or collects in saline lakes and playas, such as Pyramid Lake and the Black Rock Desert. This massive, inward draining region is a relic of the Pleistocene epoch, where a massive ancient body of water, Lake Lahontan, covered much of northwestern Nevada. The basin's geography isolates its water resources, making their management a matter of survival and a central theme of Nevada's human and environmental story. Straddling the border between Nevada and California, Lake Tahoe is the largest alpine lake in North America and a stunning geographic anomaly. Situated at an elevation of over 6,200 feet, it's renowned for its extraordinary clarity and cobalt blue water. Formed in a downdropped block of land between fault lines, the lake is the second deepest in the United States, plunging to a depth of 1,645 feet. Its massive volume and high altitude keeps its water cold and pure, though the ecosystem is under constant pressure from development and tourism. As both a critical water source and a world-class recreational hub, Lake Tahoe represents a complex intersection of natural beauty and human activity, making its preservation a major environmental focus for both Nevada and California. High on the arid, windswept slopes of Nevada's mountain ranges, some of the oldest living organisms on Earth endure, the Great Basin bristlecone pine. These gnarled, resilient trees have survived for millennia in an environment hostile to most other life. Found in places like Great Basin National Park, some individual trees have been dated to be nearly 5,000 years old, meaning they were seedlings when the Great Pyramids of Egypt were being built. Their incredible longevity is a result of their harsh habitat. The slow growth in the dry, cold air creates incredibly dense, resinous wood that is resistant to rot, insects, and disease. These ancient trees are living monuments to persistence and a direct link to the continent's deep past, recording thousands of years of climate data in their rings. That kind of ancient persistence is incredible to think about, and as someone who spends a lot of time mapping out continents and explaining complex geographic theories, I'm pretty familiar with having big ideas, and then sometimes hitting a wall when it comes time to execute that idea. That's why I'm so excited about this video's sponsor, Lovable. It lets you go from just a big idea to a fully functional app or website in minutes, simply by chatting with AI. For example, I could describe an interactive map to track extreme weather and just type that in. Then Lovable starts building it instantly. And this isn't just a visual mock-up. It handles both the front end and back end. So what I build is ready to be seen. Making changes is just as simple. You can edit things visually right on the page, or just tell the AI what you want to change. If you do know some code, you can dive in and edit it directly. And when you're done, just hit publish to get a live URL. It's a really cool tool for anyone who wants to execute a big idea but doesn't know how to code. Lovable gives you the help to build things that simply weren't possible for non-coders before. So stop waiting and start building that big idea. Go to lovable.dev to get started today and use my code Geoff20YT for 20% off. Now, while Lovable lets you build something new by following a few simple prompts, the building of Nevada as a state broke nearly all the established rules. Nevada's path to statehood broke one of the fundamental rules of westward expansion. Its population was far below the established minimum. When it joined the Union in 1864, the territory had just over 40,000 residents, a figure that fell significantly short of the 60,000 typically required for statehood, as outlined in the Northwest Ordinance. This glaring exception highlights the immense strategic importance of Nevada to the Union during the Civil War. President Abraham Lincoln desperately needed two things the territory offered: the immense silver wealth from the Comstock Lode to help finance the war, and its votes to secure Lincoln's re-election and pass the 13th Amendment. The urgent political and economic need of a nation at war completely overrode the standard demographic requirement, making Nevada's admission a unique case where geology, not population, drew the state's star onto the flag. In the depths of the Great Depression, one of the greatest engineering feats in American history, the Hoover Dam, rose in the Black Canyon of the Colorado River. Its construction fundamentally re-engineered the geography of the American Southwest. By taming the wild and unpredictable river, the dam provided crucial flood control, irrigation for vast new agricultural lands, and, most importantly, hydroelectric power. The dam's construction created Lake Mead, the nation's largest reservoir by volume when full, which serves as a lifeline for the region. This single project made the explosive 20th century growth of Las Vegas, Phoenix, and Southern California possible, transforming the demographic and economic landscape of the entire desert Southwest by bringing water and power to an otherwise inhospitable environment. For over 4 decades during the Cold War, a vast expanse of southern Nevada's desert became a landscape shaped by atomic power. The Nevada Test Site, a 1,360 square mile federal reservation, was the primary location for American nuclear weapons testing from 1951 to 1992. Over 1,000 nuclear detonations occurred here, including more than 100 in the atmosphere, whose mushroom clouds were visible from Las Vegas. This activity left a permanent mark on the geography, creating a unique atomic geology of subsidence craters and fused soil. The most famous feature is the Sedan crater, a 320-foot deep hole created by a 1962 test, which is so large it remains clearly visible from space. Nevada's landscape is famously dotted with the skeletal remains of ghost towns, silent testaments to its boom and bust history. The state's settlement pattern was largely dictated by 19th century mineral strikes. When gold or silver was found, a town would erupt from the desert floor almost overnight, complete with saloons, banks, and newspapers. Thousands would flock to remote canyons in pursuit of fortune. However, these communities were entirely dependent on the mines. When the ore veins were exhausted, a process that could take decades or mere months, the economy would collapse. Miners and businesses would vanish as quickly as they came, abandoning entire towns like Rhyolite and St. Thomas to the elements, leaving behind a fascinating and haunting geography of ambition and decline. Traversing the heart of Nevada's basin and range country is a highway that captures the state's immense scale and emptiness. US Route 50. In 1986, Life magazine branded it the loneliest road in America, warning drivers that there were no points of interest and advising them to have survival skills. The name stuck, but for many, its isolation is the main attraction. The road is a journey through Nevada's core geography, crossing vast, sagebrush-filled valleys and climbing over one mountain range after another. It connects a string of historic mining towns like Austin and Eureka, which were once bustling hubs during the silver boom. The highway's long, quiet stretches are not empty, but rather full of history and the raw, expansive beauty of the Great Basin. A defining feature of Nevada's human geography is land ownership. An astonishing 80% of Nevada's land is owned and managed by the federal government, the highest percentage of any state. This unusual situation stems from the 19th century when homesteaders claimed the best watered lands, leaving the vast, arid remainder in the public domain. Agencies like the Bureau of Land Management, the U.S. Forest Service, and the Department of Defense control massive tracts used for everything from grazing and mining to recreation and military training. This federal dominance profoundly influences the state's politics, economy, and culture, creating ongoing tensions over resource management and state versus federal authority, a conflict famously known as the Sagebrush Rebellion. Nevada's population distribution is one of the most lopsided in the United States. While it's the 7th largest state by area, its residents are incredibly concentrated. Nearly 3/4 of all Nevadans live in a single county, Clark County, which is home to the Las Vegas metropolitan area. This extreme centralization creates a stark demographic contrast between the bustling, urbanized South and the vast rural and sparsely populated remainder of the state, often referred to as cow country. This imbalance shapes the state's political dynamics, with legislative power heavily weighted towards the interests of Clark County. It also highlights the powerful influence of water availability and economic opportunity in concentrating human settlement in an otherwise challenging desert environment. The existence of Las Vegas is one of the world's most dramatic examples of human intervention in a hostile environment. Located deep within the Mojave Desert, one of the hottest and driest places in North America, the sprawling metropolis is an oasis of artifice, made possible entirely by modern engineering. Its survival and explosive growth depend on a single lifeline: water piped from the Colorado River via Lake Mead. Without the Hoover Dam and a complex system of aqueducts, the city's fountains, golf courses, and millions of residents simply couldn't be sustained. Las Vegas therefore stands as a monumental case study in human geography, demonstrating both the immense power of technology to overcome environmental limits and the profound vulnerabilities of supporting a large population in an arid land. In a striking paradox, the state known for the dazzling 24-hour light pollution of the Las Vegas Strip also boasts some of the darkest night skies in the contiguous United States. Once away from its few urban centers, Nevada's vast, unpopulated valleys and high elevation mountain ranges provide a perfect setting for stargazing. The state's low population density and large tracts of undeveloped land mean there is minimal artificial light to obscure the view of the cosmos. This natural resource has been officially recognized with the designation of Great Basin National Park as an international dark sky park. The park's pristine night skies attract astronomers and tourists from around the world, offering breathtaking views of the Milky Way and making astrotourism a small but growing part of the state's unique appeal. Nevada's economic geography is not an accident of nature, but a product of deliberate design. Faced with a harsh, arid environment and a sparse population, state leaders made bold legislative decisions to create a unique economy. The legalization of commercial gambling in 1931 and the establishment of lenient divorce laws turned the state into a major tourism and entertainment hub, attracting visitors and revenue when other states would not. This pillar of the economy was built alongside Nevada's traditional mining industry. It is the nation's largest producer of gold. To further encourage growth, Nevada adopted a favorable tax structure with no state income tax. This combination of tourism, mining, and business-friendly policies created a distinctive economic model designed to lure people and capital into its challenging landscape. Nevada is truly one of the United States' most extreme states, which is why I chose it to kick off this new series of Friday videos. So, just in case you were curious, you can expect to see 15 new facts about a different place every Friday. And of course, if you want more content now, I'm traveling across Europe by train as I attempt to recreate the famous Orient Express, just on a leaner budget. I hope you enjoyed learning all about the state of Nevada. If you did, check out this video all about 20 geographic myths of the United States. Thanks for watching. See you next time.